Hello everyone, welcome back. Let's understand the web service. If we are talking about the web service, as name suggests, web means internet and service means it is a type of service. So from his name we can conclude the definition. This is a type of service that we get over the internet or web. Now if you're talking about the how basically this communicates, this is similar to like that API, that it is also exchanging the information between the two software. Let's understand, there is a one software called the flight software, and there is our mobile phone having the app, and we are checking the flight status from my mobile phone. So we are requesting information from the flight software, and flight software is sending information to our mobile application, and in this way they are exchanging the information, and this is all happening over the internet because we are using internet, and this is all over happening over internet. Okay, so it is a type of communication where two software, or it can be many software, it can be a many software like that. This again, this mobile phone is sending with other, again this software is sending with, this can be a many software. Basically of course information will be exchanged between two only. Okay, because this can be this from this mobile phone, other application may be exchanging some different information, but that it depends on the, if the information will be exchanged between two software over internet, it is called a web service. Now coming towards some more difference between the API and the web service, because API, we have heard about the API, application programming interface, and we have a web service, and it is little bit confusing ki which is though is both are same or something different. A web service API is a application processing interface. It is also interface between the web server and the web browser. So if you talk about the API, web service API, it is a interface, or if you are talking about the web service, just simply called as a web service, it is a interface between web server and web browser. And one important point that mainly asked in you in the question or interview like that, all web service are API, but all APIs are not web service. Keep in mind, whatever the web service we have, these are the web APIs, but all the API that is present we cannot call as a web service. All API is not a web service, but all web service are API. Okay, now let's understand more deep in about the web service. Let's understand types of web service. Mainly web service are of two type. First is a SOAP based web service, and the second is the REST based web service. SOAP is a different protocol of web service, and REST is a different protocol of web service. So let's understand each in detail. Now if you are talking about the SOAP based web service, SOAP, as a name suggests, SOAP, simple object access protocol. So this is some full form of the SOAP, simple object access protocol. It basically is XML format. It gets the request in XML format. It supports the XML format. Whatever the web service we use in the SOAP is in XML format. That you need to keep in mind. So any one is requesting information, that they will request information in XML format. Okay, and it's is WSDL based. WSDL means web service definition language. It is a type of XML document where all detail about the web service is written, like that what should be the your request URL, what should be the method of web service, and what should be the request and what should be response. Everything detail about the web service is written in this document, and it is in XML format. So if anyone getting this document, this is a readable document, anyone can read this document and they can get about the web service, what web service did this does. And but problem is that it is some complex step, it is some complex step in creating the web service. It is not easy to create a web service. If someone has given a time to create a web service, then it takes a time to implement the web service, because we need to create the visual, and from this visual we can implement the soap based web service. So it takes time to create a web service. But if you talking about the REST web service, we can create a within a single minute web service, okay, and we can test it. But you cannot test the web service visual based in the few minutes. You need to implement in as a in the detail. So this is called a complex. So soap based web service nowadays it is outdated, but still some of the legacy system are there, they are using the soap based web service. Nowadays we are focusing on the REST web service. So let's understand the REST web service. REST web service also called as a RESTful web service. It is, if you talking about the REST full from representational state transfer, it is called, and it supports the any language. Anyone can request, any client can request information from in any language, whether it should be XML, it should be a JSON, or it should be any text language, and etc. Any language it supports. So there is no foundation of language support. Okay, now talking about the, it is lightweighted. What do you mean by lightweighted? Mainly the payload we use in the web service is light, while in the soap based service it is something heavy weight. Heavy weight means like that you can heavy weight and lightweight, how can we segregate the thing? Lightweight, let's we are requesting information which contains the 50 lines, that it is a lightweight. But if we are requesting information with a payload that contain the 1000 line, that it is a heavyweight. Okay, so most of the web service we create in the RESTful that are lightweighted, and it also supports a lightweighted. Although we can create a heavyweight, but the problem it will degrade the performance. Okay, so nowadays we are following a REST web service, and that is a lightweight. Okay, now coming to the communication protocol, it follow the HTTP communication protocol, through which it exchange the information between the server and client. One main feature of this API is the stateless. What do you mean by stateless? Stateless means it server do not save client data between the request. If client is requesting information from the server and server is responding back with the response, in between server do not save any client data, that is called the stateless. It is simple like that. Server with the same URL that you are hitting a URL over the website, it is similar like that. Client request to the web server are similar to the URL that you type in your browser to visit the website. Okay, so this is about the REST web service. Now let's understand more about the REST web service. Now if you're talking about the what are the web service method that REST follow, these are the although it follow the lots of method, but these 5 are the popular method, and most of the web service are created with these methods. So let's understand this method. Get is used to retrieve some information. Let's take this example. We have a database and we want to get some information from the database. Then in that case we use get information to get details from the database. Now post is used to create a new resource. What do you mean new resource? Let's take example. We have a database. We want to insert a new value to our database. Then we can use the post paste method. Okay. Delete method क्या? Delete method means if we want to delete some resource, then we call as a delete method. Delete method means, let's take example, we have a database and there is a column that we do not require, then we can delete that column using the delete method. Now put method is a update. Let's take example, there is a table and we want to update, then we can call as a put method to update the table. But somehow while updating we found that this information does not exist, then it will create a new one. The put is like that update, and if does not exist, it will create a new one. It will also work as a post in case if it is resource is not present, but if resource is present, it will update the table. The mainly we called as a put as a update. Patch each type of partial update. It basically partial updates the column. Okay. Now this is all about the method of the web service. These 5 are the popular method that in the REST web service. Now understand the some response code. Once the client send a request, let's understand the client send a request to a server, and server will respond back the response. In response there is a called a status code. A status code basically give us the status of the response. There are few popular status code that are very famous and used frequently that I have mentioned here. 200 status code is used in case server is responding back with the success. If the response is success, then it is called a 200, and it basically supports all get. It is with the get, delete, patch and put method. 201 means created. If client is requesting information to insert something into our database, and if it has been inserted, then our server will reply with the 201 response, and of course if it is created, it will support only the post method. Now coming to the 304, it is not modified, and not modify means it is something type of update, so it will support the patch and put method. Let's understand the situation where the client send a request to update to our database, but somehow it was not updated. Maybe that reason will be it will be not present in our database, or that may be situation. Somehow it not modified it not modified our database, so it will return as a 304 in response with the status code. Now coming to the 400, of course this is a very popular bad request. If client is sending a request that is not supported by our server, then or our API web service, then in that case what will happen, our server will respond as a 400, that is bad request, and it is supported by all method. 401 is the unauthorized. Let's take this example. While creating our web service, we have given an authentication that if anyone wants to request information, then they have to give the authentication as a username password. And in case client is trying to send a request with the wrong username password, and so they will get as a 401 unauthorized in response from the server, because you are not authorized and you are trying to access the resource, so it is unauthorized. Now coming to 404 is the resource not found. In case like you are trying the wrong URL, you are trying to hit the web service, we are trying to hit web service with the wrong URL, that it will come as a resource not found. Okay. 500 is the server error. server, it is a generic something like that. Let's example, somehow client is trying to access our server with the request, and our server somehow it was down, so they will get a same server error and something went wrong with the server side. So these five are the popular, these few are the popular status code that is returned by the server in response to the client. When the someone client request information, they can get this status code in response. So hope you have enjoyed. We have covered everything from the beginning, like that, what is SOAP, what is REST, and what should be the method, and what should be the status code. Hope you have enjoyed. If you have any doubt, again you can comment me, you can send me email. Again, if you have not subscribed my channel, subscribe it. Thank you all.